Republicans, the asshole of the political body of anatomy. You know, there comes a time where one comes across something so dope that one must share it with the world. I don't know why it took me so long to come across this, but ladies and gentlemen, this book right here, Stupid Conservatives, Weird and Wacky Tales from the Right Wing. This is a goldmine for anyone that hates the right. Leland Gregory, the best-selling author of Stupid History, penned this series, which sadly only has this and Stupid Liberals. And yes, of course, I bought Stupid Liberals. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna make fun of it because, you know, sometimes the left has to make fun of the left as well. But the insanity that Leland found that was said on the right will literally blow your mind. So before we get to the first episode of this series, I gotta give credit where credit's due. I gotta give credit to Mr. Gregory. This book is amazing. I highly recommend you read this. But without further ado, let's get into this. In 1995, Dick Armey, Republican out of Texas, meant to speak about openly gay Congressman Barney Frank, Democrat from Maryland. But somehow the words Barney accidentally slipped out. And we immediately start off with a Republican speaking his mind. It's like Republicans are drunk. You know, drunken words are sober thoughts. They all think like this. Homophobia is a large problem in the Republican Party, I'll tell you that. You know, one of my favorite things is when Republicans try to on somebody's parade. Literally. And within that process, everything that they're trying to do blows up in their faces. When a small number of Republicans in the city of Edison, New Jersey found out that exotic Expo has been booked at the New Jersey Convention and Exposition Center, they immediately wanted to throw a wrench in it. According to the Huffington Post on November 5th, 2009, the Township Council quickly amended its zoning laws to prohibit, quote, any shows or sales of sexually oriented products and gathering of 100 or more people at any place located within 1,000 feet of a place of worship, school, playground, hospital, or any child care center or area with playgrounds and residential areas. There's only one issue with that. There are no schools or playgrounds or childcare centers anywhere near that expo center. And guess what? The sexy show went on. On April 28th, 2009, Republican Representative Michelle Bachmann said this. I find it interesting that it was back in 1970s that the swine flu broke out under then another Democrat president, Jimmy Carter. You know, I'm not blaming this on President Obama. I just think it's an interesting coincidence. I guess Miss Bachmann didn't do her research because the 1976 swine flu broke out under Republican President Gerald Ford. I gotta say, George W. Bush is one of the most incompetent presidents that we've ever had in this country. And what he said on September 23rd, 2004, just listen. I think it's important for the American president to mean what he says. That's why I understand that the enemy could misread what I say. That's why I try to be as clearly I can. What? This reminds me of a time when I despised George W. Bush, which I still do, don't get me wrong. God damn it. I despise this man. Now, while we have George W. Bush fresh in our minds, let's mention that on April 5th, 2002, Bush said this. Far be it from the American president to get to decide who leads what country. 4 minutes later, he said this. I made up my mind that Saddam needs to go. In 4 minutes, this man made up his mind to destroy a whole country, kill over 1 million Iraqis, and kill between 4,000 and 10,000 of our own military men and women. Let that sink in next time you vote Republican. In a 60 Minutes Vanity Fair poll taken on October 2nd, 2011, over half of Republicans that were asked what the GOP stood for knew the answer as Grand Old Party. Now, the second most popular answer was at 35%, and that is Government of the People. Grumpy Old People was at 7%, and that's not a joke. And 3% of Republicans in Congress thought that the abbreviation means God's own party. Of course Republicans would think that. But it's the answer given by the 1% of Republicans in Congress that really stood out to me. It'll probably stand out to you as well now that the January 6, 2021 insurrection occurred. 1% of Republicans in Congress believe that GOP stands for Gauntlet of Power. Of course. Now, on a beautiful spring day on May 7th, 2010, Ann Coulter and Bill O'Reilly had this conversation on the O'Reilly Factor. You will find liberals always rooting for savages against civilizations.
They didn't root for Nazis against civilizations.
Oh yes, they did. It was only when Hitler invaded their precious Soviet Union that at the last minute they came in and suddenly started saying, "Oh no, now you have to fight Hitler." I guess Pearl Harbor never happened, according to Ann Coulter. You know, I'm so glad that the O'Reilly Factor's canceled. Another propaganda-filled program canceled on a propaganda-filled network. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude part 1 of this series, here's our very own racist Rush. Rush! You know, that cracker made a lot of African-American millionaires. And those words were spoken on July 13th, 2010 on the Rush Limbaugh show by late Rush Limbaugh. And the aspect that he's referring to within his statement is on the death of longtime New York Yankees owner George Steinbrenner. Unbelievable. I'm not gonna do it. The dude's passed away. Ghost, don't do it. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. You know, there are moments in a Republican's career that I ask myself, do these people think? Why do most of them think like this? And I honestly believe it's the indoctrination within the right and within the extreme right-wingers. What do you guys think of these? Comment below. Let me know. I'll read all of my comments. Support the channel on Patreon and join my private community on Discord. Come hang out and chill with me and some amazing, kind-hearted people. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. And check out some more Republicans Say the Darndest Things right here.